The 18th season of The Ultimate Fighter was the first to feature women as part of its cast, and was hailed as a landmark moment in the continued growth of women's MMA. But few know that the show was predated by a long-forgotten reality series from 2007. Today, we look at a forgotten relic from MMA's expansion era, and the future stars who use the show as their first step toward the big time. Welcome to the INC, and this is the story of Fight Girls. Fight Girls was the brainchild of television producer Scott Messick, one of the brains behind the reality TV juggernaut Survivor. Messick went on to form his own production company in 2002, going on to produce such celebrated masterpieces as Pros vs. Joes, Destroy Build Destroy, and Rodman on the Rebound. Fight Girls had been inspired by a one-off documentary airing on the Oxygen channel in 2006, which followed a group of female fighters preparing for a Muay Thai event in Thailand. Among the women featured in the show was a then-unknown Gina Carano, who went on to become the first to find success in the land of smiles. The special yielded mostly positive reviews, and along with continued success of The Ultimate Fighter, Messick decided to adapt the show into an 8-part reality series the following year. Oxygen was, to put it bluntly, a strange location for such a show. While the female lifestyle channel was known for its reality TV content, their shows steered toward the lighter side of the broadcast spectrum. While its experience with sports broadcasting was a short run of WNBA games in the pre-Caitlin Clark era, meaning that about 10 people watched it. This, however, didn't stop the channel taking the dive into combat sports, with Fight Girls airing its debut episode on June 12, 2007. The show followed a format similar to other reality shows of the time. 10 contestants would live and train together before 2 squared off against one another at the end of each episode, with the victors facing off against a Thai champion in the season finale. Their road to the top would be guided by veterans from the original documentary, with Carano serving as a team captain alongside training partner Lisa King, who later became a Black Belt Hall of Famer before pursuing a successful broadcasting career. Coaching, meanwhile, was provided by Muay Thai guru Master Toddy. Toddy had been no stranger to Hollywood, having worked with UFC champions Randy Couture and Tito Ortiz, as well as a cameo in the James Bond film The Man with the Golden Gun. His larger-than-life persona made him one of the breakout stars of the series.
So Master Toddy asked us to find our own path up to the rock, and to me that immediately meant that, as individuals, he's really looking to see who we are and what path we take.
Him telling us to find our own path was really symbolic for me. It gets hard, you'll slip, you fall, but when you make it to the top, what you did wasn't for waste.
The cast, meanwhile, featured a mix of aging veterans and youngsters in the early stages of their career. Carrie Vera was a longtime kickboxing veteran and wife of UFC veteran Brandon Vera, who'd make sporadic appearances throughout the show. While Felice Herrig and 19-year-old Michelle Watterson would later find success in the UFC. The lack of high-level experience was later used as a knock against the show, with critics accusing program makers of giving undue opportunities to undeserving contenders, while most believing the cast had been chosen for entertainment value as opposed to their in-ring skill.
I'm definitely the wacky one out of the bunch. I act the way I want to act, I say what I want to say. That's just kind of how I was brought up. It takes stress off.
The air of dilettantism could also be seen in the show's training sequences. While Toddy's role as a Mr. Miyagi-like figurehead went down well with TV viewers, several Muay Thai practitioners spoke out against the guru's coaching methods, with some accusing him of being a McDojo trainer more focused on self-promotion than his pupils. Toddy has long been a divisive figure in the Muay Thai community, and his appearance on the show only emboldened sentiment about his approach to the sport. Outside the ring, Fight Girls provided a regular mix of reality TV tropes of the time, with discussions surrounding body issues, motherhood, and unsupportive parents, and highlighting the unique problems faced by female combat sports athletes. The show even borrowed from The Ultimate Fighter, most notably in Episode 3, when Janine Jackson was forced to undergo a substantial 24-hour weight cut in scenes straight out of the Bobby Southworth playbook.
I had this dream last night that I was babysitting some kid that had a birthday party, and there was birthday cake there, and I kept sneaking bites of cake, and I woke up in a cold sweat no cheating.
Every reality show needs a villain, and for Fight Girls, this came in the form of Miriam Nakamoto, arguably the most credentialed fighter entering the show. Nakamoto was often portrayed as standoffish against the rest of the cast, and provided the show's most controversial fight when she was accused of using illegal elbows in her win over Jennifer Tate. Although, personally, I blame Rod Stewart for not doing a good enough job as the ref. Nakamoto would ultimately be the show's biggest source of drama. Despite pulling every trick from the reality show trade, Fight Girls struggled to retain an audience during its 8-episode run, the show being too dry to attract Oxygen's traditional audience, and the fights being too low-level to appease the combat sports fans. With fantasy leagues and cross-promotional sponsorship, Oxygen had banked hard on Fight Girls being a breakout success for the channel, but it soon became clear that their intentions would be for naught. The show's cast was eventually whittled down to 5, with Herrig, Vera, Nakamoto, and 2 others traveling to Thailand for the show's finale. 4 of the women would prove successful in their respective fights, with Carrie Vera providing the season's highlight reel moment against her Thai opponent. The kick proved more of a send-off than a sign of things to come. Despite being considered the pick of the Monday TV schedule, Fight Girls failed to sustain a meaningful audience, and the decision was made to axe the show after its lone series. Several people involved in the show continued their careers in the years after. Gina Carano used her appearance to secure a contract with Elite XC, with her match against Julie Kedzie becoming the first women's MMA fight to broadcast live on American television. The fight kick-started Carano's rise to become one of the sport's biggest stars before transitioning to a career in Hollywood. The rest of the cast endured mixed blessings. Carrie Vera enjoyed spells with Bellator and Strikeforce, including a win over UFC veteran Leslie Smith, while Miriam Nakamoto's career would wind down after a knee injury sustained during an Invicta title match with Lauren Murphy. The show's quietest contestant, however, would arguably be the most successful. After being eliminated in her preliminary match, Michelle Waterson transitioned to MMA in 2007, winning the Invicta Atomweight title and enjoying a 10-year career with the UFC, where she'd become a top 10 staple and one of the sport's most popular female fighters. Fight Girls returned to the public consciousness in 2018 when Waterson took on fellow contestant Herrig on the main card of UFC 229, which at the time of writing still holds the record as the most watched pay-per-view in UFC history.
Michelle and I go way back. We were on a reality show, Fight Girls, with Master Toddy in 2007, and it was actually in Vegas, so it's kind of cool how everything just kind of comes full circle.
Fight Girls' legacy is not one of a successful TV show, but a building block towards raising the profile of several important figures in women's MMA. The show gave audiences their first understanding of the female side of the sport several years before the UFC did the same with Tough 18. Fight Girls holds a twee yet important place on the mixed martial arts collage, so the next time your favorite fights for a title, think of that eccentric elder statesman and the desperate young ladies under his tutelage. Sorry, wrong reality show. This is the INC. Please like, share, and subscribe. Post your feedback in the comments, and donate to our Patreon page for exclusive content.